That sounds terrifying, and I'm so sorry you're going through this. The situation you're describing is deeply unsettling, and I'll do my best to help you think through it logically while acknowledging the emotional weight of it. Since the video is gone and there's no metadata or sender info to work with, we're left with limited concrete evidence. But let's break this down and explore what you can do. First, the fact that the police labeled your sister's disappearance as a runaway case suggests they didn't find immediate evidence of foul play. But the video you received challenges that assumption. The description of something not human moving behind her could point to several possibilities. Psychological manipulation. Someone could be using edited or staged footage to toy with you, creating fear or confusion. This could be a cruel prank or a targeted attempt to distress you. Supernatural or unexplained phenomenon. While I'm grounded in reason, the not human figure you saw could suggest something beyond current understanding, especially given the video's mysterious delivery and disappearance. Technical anomaly. It's possible the video was corrupted, hacked, or remotely deleted, which could explain why it vanished. This might point to someone with access to your phone or advanced technical skills. Here's what you can do right now. Document everything. Write down every detail you remember about the video, your sister's appearance, her tone, the room's features, and especially what the something looked like. Even vague impressions, size, shape, movement could be useful. Note the exact time you received the video and any unusual phone activity before or after. Check your phone. Look for signs of tampering or hacking. Check your recently deleted files, cloud backups, like iCloud or Google Drive, or any apps that might have auto-saved the video. If you're tech-savvy, check for unusual activity in your phone's logs or consider taking it to a professional for forensic analysis. Contact the police again. Even without the video, tell them about it. Emphasize that it changes the context of your sister's disappearance and pushes it beyond a simple runaway case. Be honest about the video disappearing. They may not believe the not human part, but they need to know new evidence surfaced. Reach out to trusted people. Share what you saw with close family or friends who can support you emotionally and help you brainstorm. If you know anyone with tech expertise, ask them to help investigate how the video got on your phone and why it vanished. Stay safe. If someone or something sent you that video, they know your number and possibly your location. Be cautious about sharing this publicly or on platforms like X until you know more, as it could attract unwanted attention. The air in my apartment felt heavier after the video vanished. My phone, now just a cold slab of glass in my hand, offered no answers. I'd checked the recently deleted folder, my cloud backups, even my call logs, nothing. It was as if the video had never existed. But I could still hear my sister's voice, that desperate whisper of my name, and see the shadow behind her, tall, jagged, moving with a fluidity that made my skin crawl. It wasn't a person, not even close. Its edges seemed to blur into the darkness, like it was part of the room itself. I scribbled every detail I could remember into a notebook, my hand shaking as I described the dim light flickering in the video, the faint scratches on the concrete wall behind her, and the way her eyes darted to the side, as if she knew it was there. The thing hadn't made a sound, but its presence felt like a scream in my head. I wrote down the time the video appeared, 2:17 a.m., no notification, just there in my messages app, from an unknown number that was now gone. Sleep wasn't an option, so I called my best friend, Marcus, who'd always been the skeptical, tech-savvy one. He showed up at my place by 9 a.m., his usual smirk replaced with a furrowed brow as I recounted everything. "You're sure it wasn't a dream?" he asked, but the way his voice wavered told me he believed me. I showed him my phone, now infuriatingly normal, and he plugged it into his laptop, muttering about metadata recovery and network traces. "If someone sent that video, they didn't want to be found," he said after an hour of clicking. "No trace of it, not even in the cache. That's not easy to pull off." I called the police next, my voice cracking as I explained the video to Detective Ramirez, the officer handling my sister's case. She sighed through the phone, her tone clipped. "No evidence, no case to reopen. Kids run away, they send weird stuff sometimes. You sure it wasn't a prank?" I wanted to scream, but I forced myself to stay calm, mentioning the figure in the background. She paused, then said, "Come down to the station, bring the phone, we'll take a statement." Marcus drove me to the precinct, his knuckles white on the steering wheel. "What if it's not just a video?" he said, glancing at me. "What if whatever was in that room knows you saw it?" I didn't answer. The thought had already burrowed into my mind. At the station, Detective Ramirez took my statement. her pen scratching as I described the figure, taller than a person, limbs too long, moving like liquid shadow. She didn't roll her eyes, which was something, but she warned me that without the video, they could only file it as a new lead, not reopen the case. She suggested I check local security cameras near my apartment for anything odd around 2:17 a.m. and get some rest, she added, not unkindly. You look like you're about to collapse. Back home, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Every creak in the floorboards, every flicker of the streetlight outside made my pulse spike. Marcus stayed over, setting up his laptop to monitor my Wi-Fi for unusual activity. Around midnight, my phone buzzed. My heart stopped as I grabbed it, expecting another video. It was just a text from an unknown number. Stop looking. I showed Marcus, who immediately started tracing the number, but it was a dead end, some kind of burner or spoofed line. This is bad, he whispered. Whoever's doing this has skills. Or something has skills, I thought, but didn't say it out loud. That night I dreamed of the video, but it was different. My sister wasn't whispering my name. She was screaming it, and the thing behind her wasn't in the background anymore. It was right beside her, its face. If it had one, too close to the camera, a void that seemed to pull me in. I woke up gasping, my phone screen glowing. Another message, same unknown number. She's still here. Attached was a grainy photo, just a glimpse of a concrete wall with those same scratches I'd seen in the video. This time I screenshotted it before it could vanish, my hands trembling as I saved it to a USB drive Marcus had brought. We're not waiting for the police, he said, his voice low. We're finding her ourselves. All right, let's keep the story rolling, leaning into the chilling mix of investigative grit and creeping dread from your prompt. I'll build on the narrative, keeping the tone tense and mysterious, with a focus on the new photo, Marcus's tech efforts, and the unsettling possibility of something beyond human involvement. Since you didn't specify a particular direction, I'll balance the horror and investigative elements, leaving room for you to guide the next steps. Here we go. The screenshot of the photo burned into my mind as I stared at the USB drive in Marcus's hand. Those scratches on the concrete wall, jagged, uneven like something clawed at it, matched the video perfectly. My sister Lily was still out there somewhere, and that thing was with her. The text, "She's still here," asterisk felt like a taunt, a dare to keep digging. But the way my phone seemed to betray me, swallowing evidence like it had a mind of its own, made me question what I was up against. Marcus was already hunched over his laptop, the glow of the screen casting shadows across his face. This photo's low-res, but there's something here, he muttered, zooming in on the scratches. See this? He pointed to a faint smudge near the edge of the frame, barely visible. It looked like a shadow, but not quite, more like a distortion, like heat rising off pavement. Could be a glitch or... He trailed off, not wanting to say what we were both thinking. We need to find that wall, I said, my voice steadier than I felt. If it's local, there can't be too many places with concrete like that. Marcus nodded, but his eyes flicked to the USB drive. First, we secure this. If your phone's compromised, we can't trust it. He copied the photo to his laptop and an external hard drive, then handed me the USB. Keep this somewhere safe. Not here. I tucked it into my jacket pocket, my fingers brushing against the cold metal. What about the number? I asked. The texts. We decided to start with Detective Ramirez's suggestion, checking local security cameras. My apartment building had a camera in the lobby, and there were a few businesses nearby with exterior feeds. If something, or someone, had been close enough to mess with my phone at 2:17 a.m. last night, maybe we'd see them. Marcus grabbed his jacket, and we headed out, the weight of the USB drive in my pocket like a talisman. The lobby camera was a bust. Grainy footage showed nothing but a delivery guy at 1 a.m. and a neighbor stumbling and drunk at 3. But the bodega across the street had a better setup, and the owner, Mr. Kim, owed me a favor after I'd helped him with a break-in last year. He led us into the cramped back room, where a monitor displayed feeds from 3 cameras. You looking for trouble? He asked, half joking, as he pulled up last night's footage. We scrubbed through the timeline, my heart pounding as we hit 2:15 a.m. The street outside was empty, sodium lights casting long shadows. Then at 2:17, the camera facing my building flickered. Just for a second, the screen went dark, not static, not a glitch, just asterisk, black asterisk. When it came back, nothing seemed different, but Mr. Kim frowned. That's not normal, power's on a backup, shouldn't cut out like that. Marcus and I exchanged a look. Can we get a copy of that? I asked. Mr. Kim burned the footage onto a USB stick, and as we left, he grabbed my arm. Be careful, kid. My grandma used to say some shadows don't belong to people. Back at my place, Marcus played the footage on a loop, slowing it down frame by frame. The blackout lasted exactly 3 seconds, but in the frame just before it, there was something. A faint blur at the edge of the screen, too tall, too thin, like the smudge in the photo. My stomach twisted. "That's it," I whispered. "That's what was in the video." Before Marcus could respond, my phone buzzed. I froze, afraid to look. Another text, same unknown number, "Closer than you think." No attachment this time, just those words, glowing like a threat. Marcus grabbed the phone, plugging it into his laptop to run his sniffer program. "Come on, you bastard," he muttered, eyes locked on the screen. After a minute, he shook his head. "It's bouncing through servers, Tor network maybe. But there's a local IP spike, like something's pinging your phone from asterisk nearby asterisk." I glanced at the window, the curtains still. The street outside was quiet, but the hairs on my neck stood up. "What do we do?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. Marcus closed his laptop. "We find that wall, tonight. If Lily's in a place with concrete like that, it's probably a basement, a warehouse, or some abandoned spot. I'll pull up city records for buildings with exposed concrete, old factories, storage units, anything within a few miles." He hesitated, then added, "But if that thing's real, we need to be ready for anything." I nodded, gripping the USB drive in my pocket. The photo, the scratches, the shadow, they were all we had to find her. But as I looked at my phone, now silent but somehow alive with menace, I couldn't shake the feeling that whatever was holding Lily wasn't just hiding her. It was watching me. Two Marcus's fingers flew across his laptop, pulling up city records and old building permits while I paced the apartment, my eyes darting to the window every few seconds. The street outside was still, but the text, "Closer than you think," echoed in my head like a pulse. Whoever or whatever was behind this knew where I was. Maybe it was watching right now. The USB drive in my pocket felt heavier, the screenshot of the scratched concrete wall my only tether to Lily. "I've got something," Marcus said, breaking the silence. He turned his screen toward me, showing a map dotted with red pins. "These are buildings within a 10-mile radius with exposed concrete interiors. Warehouses, abandoned factories, a few old storage units. Most are near the River Industrial District. A couple have been flagged for code violations, meaning they're likely empty." He zoomed in on one pin, a defunct paper mill shut down in the 90s. "This one's got a basement level with concrete walls, matches your description." I nodded, my throat tight. "Let's go now." The idea of waiting until morning felt impossible. If Lily was there, every second mattered. Marcus hesitated, glancing at my phone on the table. "If we're walking into this, we need backup, or at least a plan. That thing you saw, it's not just a guy in a mask, is it?" I didn't answer. I couldn't. The shadow in the video and the bodega footage wasn't just tall and thin. It moved wrong, like it didn't belong in the world. Its edges seemed to fray into the air, and when it shifted, it was like watching something unfold in too many directions. I grabbed a flashlight, a pocket knife, and my phone, ignoring the dread crawling up my spine. "You coming or not?" Marcus sighed, grabbing his backpack and a crowbar from his toolbox. "Yeah, but if we die, I'm haunting you." The drive to the industrial district was quiet, the city's lights fading as we reached the river. The paper mill loomed ahead, a hulking skeleton of rusted metal and broken windows. The air smelled of damp earth and oil, and the only sound was the faint rush of the river nearby. We parked a block away, approaching on foot to avoid drawing attention. My phone stayed silent, but I kept checking it, half expecting another text to light up the screen. The mill's main entrance was boarded up, but Marcus pried open a side door with a crowbar, the wood splintering with a crack that echoed in the night. Inside, the air was thick with dust, and our flashlights cut through the darkness, revealing sagging beams and scattered debris. "Basement's this way," Marcus whispered, pointing to a rusted stairwell in the corner. The stairs creaked under our weight, descending into a cold, cavernous space. The beam of my flashlight hit the walls, concrete, rough, and scarred with scratches. My breath caught. They were identical to the ones in the photo, deep and uneven, like something had clawed at them in a frenzy. "This is it," I said, my voice barely audible. "She was here." Marcus swept his light across the room, revealing a pile of old crates and a rusted metal chair bolted to the floor. "Or she is here," he said, stepping toward the chair. There was something on it, a scrap of fabric, blue and frayed. My heart stopped. It was from Lily's jacket, the one she'd been wearing the day she vanished. Before I could move, my phone buzzed in my pocket. I yanked it out, hands shaking. Another text, unknown number, too late. My knees buckled, but Marcus grabbed my arm, his eyes wide. "Did you hear that?" he hissed. I hadn't, but now I did, a faint scraping like nails on stone coming from the far end of the basement. My flashlight beam swung toward the sound, catching a glimpse of something moving in the shadows. It was tall, too tall, its limbs bent at angles that made my stomach lurch. The air grew colder, heavier, like it was pressing down on us. The thing didn't step forward, it glided, its form flickering like a bad signal. "Run!" Marcus whispered, but my feet were rooted to the ground. Lily's voice echoed in my mind, her whisper from the video, my name over and over. The shadow paused, and for a split second I saw it tilt its head, as if it knew me. Then my phone buzzed again, the screen flashing white before a new video loaded automatically. It was Lily, her face pale and streaked with dirt, sitting in that same chair. Her eyes were wide, locked on the camera, but this time she wasn't whispering. She was mouthing something, silent and frantic. Behind her, the shadow loomed closer, its form clearer now, jagged, almost insect-like, with too many limbs that seemed to dissolve into the dark. The video cut out and my phone went dead, the screen black as the basement around us. The scraping stopped, the silence was worse,